So we've created it like this, and the folder that we had created to rename the levels is right here. And so through the browse menu, we can look for it to find it. And then here on the rename level name, we can click on the edit input option, because I don't actually remember whether I'd adjusted it for the Dynamo player or not. So let's see if we had adjusted it or not. It seems not, because we don't have any inputs here. So we click on this pen icon that we have to open up the Dynamo itself. And here it is. Alright, and now we need to adjust it for the Dynamo player. So we can right click on the categories here and check the input option. And make sure to do this, otherwise it won't be actually specified. After that, we right click on the string and check the is input option again, because even though it might not be necessary for this one, it can help us. After that, I'll rename the categories to the translation of it like this. Then I'll change the name of the string to the input parameter. There we go. And then we go over here and right click, or excuse me, double click on this string to rename this one as well to output parameter. After that, you can see in the code block it says str. So in order to change this, I'm going to have to do this every time I open up the Dynamo, and that might be a bit of a hassle. So in order to prevent that, I can rename it to a parameter like name, and then add a string over here, inside of which I'm going to write a prefix. There we go. And then click on accept. Then I'll right click on the prefix itself and check the input option, and then connect it to the code block that has name as the parameter. And then rename the suffix to mech, short for mechanical, and now I'll be able to use it every time I open up a Dynamo. Alright, so the rest is fine, so I'll save the file up to this point and then close it. Then hit refresh, and now it should load up the commands and the info right here. There we go. So we didn't actually right click on the name parameter and put it as input, and that's why it doesn't show up here, but we don't necessarily need it. So let's go over to the plan and deal with that first, and then we get back to the Dynamo. So we can go over to the view tab and open up the plan views and select the floor plan. Then we open up the edit type and create a duplicate here and name it plumbing plan. There we go. Then hit OK. And then we open up the mechanical plan for the view template applied to new views section. Then from the menu, I'll select the plumbing plan itself. Then hit OK. Alright, and then hit OK once again. So now we've created the plumbing plan type here, and then we can select all of the levels, including the level 3 and up, and hit OK. So now all of them have been created in the plumbing section. I'll select and delete the level 3 for now, so we'll get to create it later on. And you can see the plumbing plan and the levels here as well. So we don't need a ceiling either, so I'll get rid of that as well. And now if I actually select all of the plumbing plan levels, you'll see the parameters are deactivated. That's because we use the template here. So I'll open up the assign view template menu and put this on none. Alright, and now in the Dynamo player, I'll put the settings on levels and then elevation and mechanical, and then run it. Then hit yes on this window. And there we go. Now I'll hit UN, Ctrl Z, and hit unit once again. Then open up the length menu and put the unit on meter and 2 decimal places for rounding. Then hit OK and OK once. Now run the Dynamo once again, and there we go. It looks better now. So I'll hit Ctrl Z once here and go over to the Dynamo player and put an underscore at the end of the mechanical in the prefix section. Then run it again, and as you can see, this is what the levels turn out like. Then I'll close the Dynamo player. Now let's go over to the 3D view. We'll just have to wait for the commands to apply first and then for the Revit file to respond. I think that's because the file's gotten a bit heavy. And there we go. So now in the 3D view, the levels that we've linked here, which are related to the structure and the architecture, we can actually ignore them here. We can also hide all of the beams so that file doesn't get so heavy in the initial steps. So now I'll open up the visibility graphics menu, and from the Revit links tab, select the by host view option and put this on custom, and then go over to the annotation tab. Put this on custom as well, and then uncheck the box of levels. Hit apply and then OK. Alright, then OK, and then OK again. Now we'll only have to look at the mechanical levels, and it's just a bit tight here. So now we said we're going to get a quick check here to get the coordinations right. So I'll go over to the 4100 level, which is actually our first floor. Here I'll open up the mechanical AutoCAD file as well. So we'll need to keep this insertion point later on as well. But now I'll go over to the mechanical plan in the first floor and the sewage. So let's see where that actually is. Here we have the sewage and rainwater piping plan of the first floor. So let me just hit Ctrl Z, and then I'll delete the structure and get the default plan itself. So I'll select all of the plan itself, then hit Ctrl C, Ctrl N, and then hit open on this window. Then paste it over here and delete the detailing on the right, and then we'll go back to the mechanical plan, and then we'll need this insertion point. So I'll select it and then select this aux as well, then hit Ctrl C and then Ctrl V over here and plus enter, and then on the shape that we have we'll select this corner down left and insert it to this corner in the plan. Oh, it seems like we had the stairs here as well, but it doesn't matter now. So I'll delete this, then select the plan and hit M plus enter, and the same point that we've inserted in the 0, 0 points, we'll select that and put it there once again. Then I'll hit UN and then enter and change the unit to meters. Okay, then I'll delete these and then get rid of all of the texts. We'll just need this layer right here. So I'll go over here and let's see, the layer's name is metric sewage line. So I'll right click here and then open up the quick properties menu, then put the object type based on line, and then in the properties select the layer. Alright, after that we'll get to the operator and put this on not equals, and then value is going to be the name of the layer, metric sewage line. So then we'll have the include box checked and then hit OK. There we go. And then we'll get rid of all of the other unnecessary items in the plan, like these, get rid of them, and anything similar to them. So delete these as well. And right click here, select similar and delete as well, and the same process here as well. And then I'll select this block and delete it too. Alright, then up here we have the text that we can delete, and then this layer right here which we don't need either, so select similar and then delete, and then the same for this as well. Alright, so now we'll only have the sewage in the plan. Alright, so after that I'll hit PU and hit purge all. Then purge all items and do this over and over till we get this deactivated. Alright, then hit OK. Then Ctrl S to save it, and here I'll press back and go over to the mechanical folder, then files, and put it here in the review CAD files folder. So I'll rename the file to review cat to Revit and then save. And there we go.